She nervously tells him that her clan doesn't have those kinds of high expectations like his does, and besides, she knows he's got her back like a big brother. But this guy's quick to say he doesn't prefer seeing her like a sister, and then gets back to handling business. He hypnotizes the human and plants fake memories of the whole incident. Somi's genuinely impressed by his inheritance magic and tells him how she wanted to learn herself. She can beg Suwo to teach her, but it was so damn difficult that she just gave up. He asks how many demons she's encountered so far, and she tells him 24 of them, and the strange thing was that all of them were kobolds with leashes on them. It seemed like someone else was controlling them like puppets. She adds that 7 humans got killed and many more were injured, but the demons knew it was a crime. So what kind of fun could they possibly get from doing something like this? But he doesn't agree with her reasoning. He says someone's doing this not for fun, but for some kind of advantage. She doesn't get what advantage a demon could possibly get from killing humans, which is when he drops some serious knowledge on her. He explains that their generation doesn't know this stuff, but humans are actually a great source of nutrients for demons. That's why demons used to hunt them back in ancient times. Man, we're basically like energy drinks to them. She's got this baffled expression on her face, saying she's never heard about any of this before. He tells her that's because if anyone actually knew about this, the human world wouldn't be peaceful at all, so the information wasn't passed down to the next generation. Not only that, but they created this ridiculously difficult exam specifically to protect the human world. Most demons think the human world is nothing but boring anyway and aren't interested in going there as long as the law is maintained. But now things are changing because of this coming festival. Demons are getting desperate to become stronger, and they're not hesitating to break the law to do it. Recently, there have been tons of cases where demons have basically destroyed themselves trying to get stronger or prove themselves worthy. She's listening to all this with this horrified look on her face, and he even adds his own twisted methodology. If he were doing something like this, he'd prefer a silent approach instead of using kobolds he can't even control properly. For example, he'd quietly kidnap humans and feed on them to avoid drawing any attention to himself. She comments that whoever's behind this whole thing must be a coward to attack defenseless humans like that. But he retorts that if this person can control dozens of demons at once, then they must be strong enough to attack humans by themselves anyway. She's about to say they shouldn't be acting like attention-seeking cowards, but stops mid-sentence when she suddenly remembers what time it is. Then she flies away from there, apologizing to her companion. Meanwhile, back at home, Suwu senses someone around and goes out to the balcony to check his suspicion. He doesn't remember opening the balcony door at all and wonders who the hell did it. He's about to go back inside when someone shows up right behind him, thinking he must be easy prey. But when this person's about to attack Suwu, his reflexes kick in and he dodges the attack without even seeing it coming. He immediately jumps up and stands on the railing, saving himself from the attack. The person attacking him is shocked to see that Suwu knows goblin wrestling techniques. He mutters how his heart was about to leap off of his chest. He didn't want to acknowledge it, but now he is a goblin, and one of a goblin's characteristics is that they never fall for the same trick twice. His instinct gives him the same chill he felt when he got bitten from behind earlier, and he hurls his enemy away. While looking outside, he's hoping no humans got hurt because of his little stunt. But then he feels that chill again, and this time his enemy grabs his neck with what turns out to be a snake tail. The guy tells him casually that he put everyone in the building to sleep because it would be problematic if humans started panicking around him. He leaps at Suwu while commenting that he's pretty powerful for a demon who hasn't even developed his demon energy yet, all thanks to those goblin genes. Then this snake dude throws him straight down to the floor while making some casual observation that the floor must be weakened from his earlier fall, so now humans will just blame it on some accident. He even remarks that Suwu should be dead by now considering he gave him a fair chance. Meanwhile, our boy's putting 2 and 2 together and realizes that this whole mess Somi's been dealing with is probably caused by this same demon. The snake tells him to just die by his hand since he's going to do him a favor with a mercy killing after all. He's at a much higher level than Suwu. And just to toy with our boy, he asks him if he should give him one chance and tells Suwu to just get eaten by him without uttering a word, and if he does that, he will spare his mother. This bastard really crosses the line by pulling out Suwu's mother into the picture. You don't threaten a guy's mom, that's like rule number 1 of not getting your ass kicked. This infuriates Suwu, who rushes at this snakeskin creep and is about to flip him with some goblin wrestling, but he stops mid-motion. Turns out the enemy had a trick up his sleeve. He paralyzed him with some poison ability. This guy explains it's his inheritance ability, where he has to touch his opponent to poison them. He starts babbling about how the goblin bloodlines don't need this trickery since they can petrify enemies with just a look. According to the rules of this world, he says he had to be eaten by stronger beings since he's at the bottom of the food chain. Plus, he didn't even know how to use that weapon on Suwu's arm either. Then this creep turns into his full snake form and is about to devour a boy, but Suwu can barely move, so he decides to use this to his advantage somehow. He manages to use his weapon and attacks the snake demon with it, but gets pushed away just in time. The snake man immediately notices the attack and dodges it just in time so he won't be served as today's dinner. He then counters immediately with a tail whip, sending Suwu flying into the wall while his enemy's actually complimenting his skill for pulling off an attack even while being poisoned. Suddenly, the snake man notices a small wooden sword stuck in him. Another character appears wearing a mask and starts chanting some kind of mantra to attack the snake dude. Lightning surges through the snake man, who screams in pain, and this masked person reminds him that their night hasn't come yet, but here he is breaking the law. The snake man realizes this person is none other than a human exorcist. Meanwhile, he's thinking he needs to end this as fast as possible since this guy seems dangerous. Not only that, but things would just get messier and messier if Somi and her companion arrived, against whom he's apparently no match. So he unleashes his strongest spirit that he'd been saving for the festival, but now he needs it just to survive. His plan is to keep the shaman busy fighting the kobold while he finishes off Suwu. But this shaman is seriously strong, folks, like minor god level strong. When he was alive, he controlled the west portion of the demon realm. So this bastard's plan was to busy the mysterious figure with his pet while he takes care of Suwu. And just like he had planned, the masked man and the demon start attacking each other. The masked guy moved with an incredible speed, and before the demon spirit could even attack him, he finished it off and thrust his sword in the creepy guy's head, and all of that happened in an instant. Then he turns to Suwu and asks what his reason is for being there, since he doesn't feel like a partner of the snake man. Our boy says that he could ask the same question, but he had recognized the masked guy's identity. Just by his voice, it turns out this masked dude was none other than its Yusin. Yusin was surprised to recognize his friend in this messed up state and wanted to ask like a million questions, and Suwu hit him with, "Hey dude, it's a long story." Yusin drops that mask and rushes over to Suwu, asking how the hell he got mixed up in monster business. But our boy Suwu's over here like, "Hold up with the questions, bro, I can't breathe right now." Yusin remembers this isn't just your regular poison, it's that fancy poisonous demon ability stuff, so he can't just slap a band-aid on it and call it a day. But then something weird happens. The poison mark starts fading from Suwu's body, and he's actually recovering on his own. After Suwu explains everything that went down, Yusin is not exactly thrilled to find out his buddy's half-goblin. It's like everything he believed turned out to be a lie kind of situation. Suwu asks him if this was the reason he couldn't speak and what kind of training center his house was. Yusin nods, saying, "If I had said something, you'd think I'm completely mental." He then lets out a sigh and says how all of this would be settled in 6 months. Suwu was surprised to see that Yusin knew about the festival. He then asks him if the demon running rampant situation was always normal. Turns out demons don't usually mess with humans that much. It's been pretty chill for the last century. But lately it's been changing with the festival around the corner. Humans are basically premium demon snacks now, and people have been disappearing left and right from different regions. The cops find blood splattered everywhere and major damage, but no solid proof it's demons doing the dirty work. But this is actually the first time they've encountered a real demon face to face. Then a light appears out of nowhere, and it's Somi apologizing for being late. But Yusin's not having any of it. He pulls out his sword and immediately goes into full threat mode, telling her to back the hell off or she's going to catch these hands. Suwu tries to explain that, "Chill, man, she's cool. She's with me." But Yusin tells him to stay back as the person in front of them isn't a human. It's a monster. He could somewhat tell that she was one of those law-abiding types, and that's why she wasn't killing him instantly. Suwu tries to tell him that she was her friend and had brought him to the human world, but Yusin isn't buying it. He calls Suwu a fool and tells him that he doesn't understand anything. These things are monsters, even if they look like humans on the outside. Inside, all of their nature is the same. These demons view humans as happy meals with legs and nothing else. Clutching his sword, he told Suwu that even though his blood is mixed with the monsters, he is still a human and Earth is his home, so he doesn't need permission from anyone, saying no matter what happened in the demon realm, he can't let him go. And Somi's freaking out because first she can't understand what this was going on and on about, but the real problem was that Suwu had been registered in the monster system now, so if he breaks that contract, it's going to be bad news for everyone involved. She's thinking maybe she should just drag him to the demon realm by herself. Somi decides she's going to fight Yusin to take Suwu, but she's looking at this Yusin's crazy powerful aura and she knows that she is no match for him, but then she remembers that she's Suwu's guardian, so there's no choice here for her. Seeing that she isn't backing down, Yusin was ready to throw hands when Suwu pushed his friend back, making him drop his sword. He picks it up and notices some strange engravings on it. Yusin's first thought is demon mind control activated, but nah, he doesn't sense that kind of sketchy aura coming from his friend. Suwu then looks at him and says that he was right when he said that monsters were a despicable kind who would eat their own kind for power, and he had already done it, and he'll continue to do so if that means that he can protect his loved ones. Yusin tries to convince him that he's powerful enough to protect both Suwu and his mother for the next 6 months, but our guy cuts him off with the wildest statement ever. And then our boy drops the absolute bombshell that he's going to be the next demon king. Standing there, Yusin's probably thinking, my friend's completely lost his damn mind, but Suwu admits he doesn't know much about what that means, just that he's got a shot at it, and maybe he can stop the human world from turning into a complete nightmare. Seeing that this bastard wasn't going to back down, Yusin finally gives in and says he doesn't have the right to make decisions for him, but remind him that if he crosses the line as a demon, I'm putting him down myself. Then he puts his mask back on, apologizes for interfering in their business, but adds that if anyone breaks demon law and hurts or murders his friend, he's going full John Wick mode on the entire demon world. After he leaves, Somi straight up collapses like, holy crap, that was absolutely terrifying. It was her first time meeting a shaman. She asks Sue if all of them were this scary. But then Goyu shows up explaining that Yusen's the special kind of terrifying. Not all shamans are like that. Somi asks him if he had come to help her. Goyu explains that he had come because Somi charged in without knowing what kind of enemy she was facing, and because of her careless attitude, things could go south very easily. Then he drops some demon world hierarchy knowledge on us. You got your basic bestial demons in animal forms at the bottom, your higher class mythical creature demons in the middle like nine-tailed foxes, and at the top you got the divine demons that people used to worship back in ancient times. And finally, Goyu introduces himself as Suu's opponent in the upcoming festival, representing the Black Tortoise clan, extending his hand like, nice to meet you, I'm going to try to beat you up later. Our boy's about to shake Goyu's hand, but Soma warns him not to make contact, and then starts going off on Goyu like, dude, Suu's already messed up and you're gonna make it worse. But Goyu's over here like, do I look like I care? He grabs Suu's hand anyway, commenting that it's pretty entertaining to hear this kid claim he's going to be the next demon king. Then this guy bites his thumb to activate some magic called Shrinking Earth. Next thing you know, they're in a completely different space and our boy's struggling to stay upright. Goyu's actually impressed, saying not many people can stand up when they're yanked through dimensions for the first time, especially when it's a surprise trip. But looking at Suu's face, he notices this kid's not even surprised. No wide eyes, no what the hell just happened moment. Our dude gets straight to business and seriously asks, did you bring me here to eat me? Goyu just shrugs, and then he switches topics completely and asks if Sue plays video games. Sue explains he used to play back in middle school but stopped when high school hit. When asked about his favorite genre, our boy's got some strong opinions. He's not into online games because they're all about selling items. The man's calling out the pay-to-win nonsense that ruins gaming. Sticks to action RPG games instead, which gets Goyu's seal of approval. But then he flips the switch and attacks Sue out of nowhere. Our boy swiftly dodges it though, and Goyu's looking at him like, interesting. He notices that Sue immediately assumed they were going to fight and dodge with that exact mindset. This impresses our turtle demon. He's thinking, this guy's actually got some serious potential. Man, what do you know? Sue's learning ability is absolutely peak right now after all these fights. He's like a video game character that actually levels up from experience. All those battles are paying off. He's become super cautious after that snake man tricked him earlier. He is not falling for obvious tricks and trusting things at face value. He's learned how to use the Destroyer's armor on his arm, which basically releases demon energy and power when activated. It's like unlocking a new skill tree in RPG, except this one can actually kill you if you mess up. After attacking his new opponent, he stays on guard because he's learned the hard way that you don't drop your defense until the fight's completely over. The demon energy thing is new to him, but he's getting the hang of it. He can feel it coming from his stomach and surging through his whole body. Our boy's keeping track of his energy usage. He's down to 60% after using 10% on a big attack and 3% on smaller ones. He's reminding himself to use demon energy carefully so he doesn't end up completely drained by him. Meanwhile, Goyu's praising his power, which pushes him to bust out the icicles. He comments on how Sue had messed up by the second they had started, though this bastard had attacked our boy out of nowhere, but despite all these constant attacks, he's not sensing any malicious intent from him. Goyu notices he's been caught and admits he's terrible at faking bloodlust. He explains that he doesn't actually have any bad intentions bringing him here. He did it because he heard Sue's claim about becoming Demon King and got curious about this half-goblin kid. Then he asks what Sue thinks the Demon King actually is. Sue looks at him and says, isn't it obvious, dumbass? Someone who rules the demon realm. But Goyu drops some knowledge that changes everything about demon politics. He told him that demons don't even think about the king as someone who rules and makes laws for the next 666 years. Instead, they choose someone based purely on fighting skills. Demons follow the simple rule of the strongest fighter becomes king. These guys are basically slaves to their desires, so it doesn't make sense for them to follow the rules even if they were made by someone stronger than them. So to stop demons from just killing each other constantly and going extinct, they came up with this system as a safety measure. He told our boy that over thousands of years, the Demon King has had the responsibility to mediate the demon's survival, and every Demon King has done his job except the current one. He asked our boy to imagine if the human king suddenly banned everyone from eating meat to get nutrients. Sue agrees that no one would follow it, and there'd be complete chaos against the king. But demons have perfectly followed this ridiculous law for 666 years straight. Despite their demon nature, they're following this tradition because the Demon King is powerful enough to enforce it, but their patience is definitely on the edge. Stu realizes they won't handle it well if the new king makes such a law again. Goyu agrees, pointing out that no matter how powerful the Demon King is compared to individual demons, he's still outnumbered by the entire demon population. If they decide not to follow him, not only will his authority be challenged, but the whole system will crumble. So maybe Suwu shouldn't go around claiming he'll be the next demon king while planning to maintain that law. He warns Suwu that if he keeps acting like a stupid, he'll soon end up dead, as not all of them are as nice as Somi. Suwu asks him where exactly he is going with all this. Then Goyo makes an offer. If Suwu joins his cause, he'll let him rule Korea when he becomes Demon King. He still won't be able to ban demons from eating humans entirely, but this way he can ensure his loved ones stay safe. Suwu asks how much stronger Goyo is to have such confidence in becoming the next Demon King. Goyo admits he might not be the strongest in Korea, but he's definitely strong enough to participate in the festival. After hearing this, Suwu extends his hand to accept the offer. Goyo's glad to hear this and meets his hand, but then gets completely shocked because our boy just hit him with a demon energy attack through the handshake. Suwu's instinct for goblin wrestling is on a different level now. He used almost all his remaining energy in this one attack, and he didn't do it on instinct, but consciously. Then he attacks Goyo again with his goblin wrestling, showing steel determination and resolve. After a while, when the dust settles, we can see him clearly shaking after using almost all of his demon energy. Now he doesn't have any source of recovering his energy and stamina, so there's no chance he can continue this fight anymore in this state. Goyo is now in front of him, praising his combat skill as he skillfully held his intent while attacking him. Then he uses his inheritance energy, which is Arctic frost freezing and controlling the water around him, and using it at his command to attack the enemy. Goyo then asks for his last words. Suwu tells him that he doesn't have any intention of sharing his will with his enemy. Besides, Goyo had tried to kill and eat him, so he deserves the same treatment. With that, our boy stood up and told him that he's getting ahead of himself because this fight is far from over. Goyo observes this, eyeing our boy and wondering if he's determined how to find an opening in his attack. Somehow, our boy has awakened the combatant skills of the goblin. It looks like Goyo is about to attack him while saying that Suwu is talking big for someone on the verge of losing consciousness. Suddenly, he tells him that our guy has passed some kind of test, flashing our boy this big smile. He told him that he's going to support him, and he doesn't want to do it for someone who doesn't deserve it at all. Suwu doesn't understand what he is saying at all. Goyo explains that everyone is looking forward to the Demon King Festival, but he personally doesn't really want the Night of Monsters. He explains that he doesn't like the devious nature of demons who eat and fight each other, compared to the peace in the human world. He also expresses that he's one of those demons who likes how humans create mundane and useless things like books and comics, which don't exist in the demon realm. He doesn't want the human world to be affected, as these things won't exist due to demon interference. Looking at him, Suwu notices that he's saying there's a chance there are others with the same ideology as him and Somi as well. Meanwhile, he asks whether it's a good enough reason to support him, as he can become a Demon King himself, to which he replies with a deadpan expression that being the Demon King is a bother and he doesn't want to. He told Suwu that the Korean peninsula has the highest chance of winning the festival because almost every candidate comes from the old clans with rich history, so the talented ones will be handed the inherited magic generation by generation. It's the same way someone is born with a golden spoon in the human world. Basically, there's great stratification from the clans to become a Demon King and favor their clan. If they find someone's talent, and if that talented person doesn't do it, they will kill him and replace him with another representative. Our guy feels sad at the cruelty of the clan system. Unfazed by his emotions, Goyo tells him that he has a great chance to become a Demon King since he has the motive and power to become one without the pressure of any clan. At that, our boy tries to tell him to hold his courses as he needs a minute to think it over. The next moment, a very angry Somi appears and proceeds to kick his butt. Our boy is too baffled by the situation and tries to explain it to her. However, she tells him that it won't put a scratch on Goyo and there's a high chance that he has already dipped. Suwu doesn't understand what she's saying. She explains that this person is not the real Goyo as he has a split personality. Basically, the black tortoise is a combination of a snake and a tortoise. First it was a tortoise, then someone found a way to separate the yin and yang energies. With the help of the yin energy, they created the black tortoise. Afterward, that generation passed down the power and the training required to become a complete black tortoise. But this clan had a side effect called the snake, which was the personality of Goyo that Suwu had witnessed minutes before. Suwu is like, it's not like Goyo seems like a totally evil dude, and Sama agrees with him, saying that even though he's mischievous and selfish, he's not rotten to the core. Then she drops some serious lore. She explains that the snake is supposed to be the submissive part of the black tortoise, kind of like the chill advisor to the main tortoise personality. But Goyo? Nah, this dude's a rare case. His snake side has been active since he was born and can just hijack his body whenever it wants. That's why a bunch of demons threw a fit when he became the clan's representative, but they couldn't do anything because the guy is hella strong. Then she asks him if he has packed everything since it's time to head back. Seeing his face all loose, she's like, dude, you're not going to get punished for being late. But he explains that's not it. He's stressing about the veranda since he'll be gone for a month. When his mom gets back, she's going to be worried sick about it. Just then, Gramps pops out of nowhere saying that he doesn't have to be worried about that since they have demons to take care of messes like these. Then he tells Somi to head first because he wants a private chat with Suwoo. Somi, meanwhile, totally misunderstands the situation and starts explaining it wasn't Suwoo's fault they were late. Gramps nods, saying that he knows and it's something else that they want to talk about. That's when Sol's voice cuts in. He turns, sees her there, and asks how the hell she got there, asking her if she came on her own. She hits him with this arrogant answer, saying she's not the type to rely on someone else to get to the human world, and then, turning to Gramps, she said she was dragged here by him. He tells them they just found 50 kobolds attacking humans in the southeast of Seoul. While they were cleaning up, they realized the tracks they left were way too obvious, like they were left on purpose. They figure it has to be a trick to draw their attention while the real mastermind makes a move on Suwoo. But that's not it. With a dead serious look on his face, he tells them that around 200 humans have been straight up kidnapped from Seoul, making this whole thing way bigger than just targeting Suwoo. He adds that 200 is just the number of people reported to the cops, and the real number could be as high as 500. Somi adds that there must be at least 5 demons involved in this, and they can probably track them with their suspect list, but he cuts her off, explaining that according to their intel, these demons aren't from around here. They're from outside of Korea. They probably got busted in their own country, so they decided to target Korean people instead. Therefore, they need to catch these culprits and punish them, and he needs their help to do it. Selwa immediately gets what he's about to say. Gramps explains that, yeah, he was supposed to give them a qualification test to enter the human world in a month, but because of this whole disaster, the test is happening now. Their mission, should they choose to accept it, track down and eliminate every last demon involved in the kidnappings. So the scene shifts over to Yusin, and man, this dude looks like he hasn't slept in a week. He's still totally worried about our boy, wondering if he did the right thing leaving that dumbass on his own. He's even starting to cook up a new plan to go rescue him. But his thoughts get cut short by the exact guy he's been thinking about. Our boy shows up all nervous, telling him his phone was off, so he came to find him. After a bit, they're sitting in a cafe. Sue explains everything that went down last night and the crazy task they have to do for their qualification test. Yuzin just loses it, trying to explain how insane this whole idea is, but Sue is actually happy about it, saying this is his chance to live in the human world. Yuzin does not look happy about it at all. He asks Sue what class of demon he is. Sue's got no clue, saying he just became a demon a few days ago. So starts explaining to him the basic there are 5 classes: Divine, Spirit, Mystic, Fiend, and Beast. At first, Sue thinks these are just names, but it's not that simple, folks. Beasts are at the bottom like animals in the human world. There are a ton of them, and they're easy targets that even normal humans can take down. The next class, Fiends, are way stronger. You need hundreds of people to take one down because they're just that tough. Sue's getting pretty tense. Hearing all this, he asks if the bottom 2 demons are that strong, then what about the rest? Yusin says that even though he's not the most experienced shaman, he knows a mystic demon can destroy a whole small city by itself. As for spirit and divine demons, they're so powerful they can't even mess with the laws of the world after filling him in on the basics. Yusin is basically begging him to stay out of it, telling him that even if he ever runs into them, he should just run and hide and pray that they haven't noticed him. Coming back to the topic, he says if these demons are from outside Korea, they're probably ready to fight other demons and shamans like him. In other words, they're dealing with at least mystic-level demons. Sue asks what class the demon from yesterday was. Yusin figures it must have been at least a fiend class. As for the demon he was controlling, he was far stronger than the snake dude. He adds that if the snake guy was on the level of the kobold, he could have easily taken down both him and Suwoo. Then he points to Suwoo and says that his strength is somewhat equal to a fiend class himself, so he should just stay away from this whole mess, since him being a goblin won't help him if he were to encounter someone stronger than him. In his mind, he knows that he is being harsh, but he also knows how big of a moron our boy is, so he tries to double down. But Suwoo, this idiot, he says that he can do it even though he failed yesterday. Yuzin just sighs, thinking to himself how this idiot is doing exactly what he didn't want him to do, and then he gets up and Suwoo asks him if he's going to the school. Yuzin just sighs that they're not going to school. Instead, he's going to give him a lesson today. Yuzin leads him to the basement of the Olympic Stadium. Sue assumes his family built it, but Yuzin corrects him, saying it's the government's work since there are plenty of other shaman and mage families around. Sue wonders if they know about the demons and the danger coming their way. His friend says that's not it. Instead, shamans have always worked for the government since way back in the day. It seems like fighting demons used to be a huge business, so it might have even been shamans who built the country. But 666 years ago, the royal family at the time created an agency to train young shamans, and his family has been working for them ever since. He adds that only a few big shots in the government know the truth about demons, but he doesn't think they're taking it seriously. Then he takes off his blazer and gets ready to fight. He told him to come in with everything he's got, no rules or restrictions. If he can take him down, he won't stop him from doing whatever he wants. On the other hand, our guy doesn't seem too excited about it and asks if he's not going to use his sword. Yusin answers that the sword makes him powerful. Yeah, but he can take down a fiend demon with his bare hands. If our guy isn't stronger than a fiend, he won't be able to beat him. That's the whole point of the fight. He hadn't told our boy to come at him. With a hesitant and trembling hand, he charges at his shaman friend, who in the blink of an eye had covered all the distance and knocks him down. After hitting him so hard, Yusin isn't even asking if his friend's okay because he knows his demon genes will heal him up quick. For that reason, he's not holding back his punches. Then he looks at our boy, who's still standing, and chuckles, commenting on how his friend looks like a hero from a comic book. At the same time, Yusin realizes his own fist is hurt from punching his demon friend like he just hit a rock. If he didn't charge it with energy, it would have been crushed. At this moment, both of them realize how powerful the other one is. That's why our guy decides not to hold back. Stu charges at his friend again. Yusin notices he's faster than before, but his fighting style is the same. Our guy grabs his friend's wrist to flip him, but Yusin stands his ground and hits him with a knee to the face. At the same time, Su manages to summon his goblin club, which stuns his friend too, since it's the first time he's ever done it on his own. So now that our boy manages to summon his goblin club, which is sick by the way, you would think that he can easily win. Well, not exactly, because at this point his overall condition is close to being bad because of last night's fight, and the fact that he can't generate the monster force easily in the human world. This means he's basically running on empty. The only good thing about this situation is that he remembers how he used the club last time, so he at least knows how to swing the thing. On the other side, Yusin is looking at this goblin club and he is not impressed. He's read all about how great it's supposed to be, so he's thinking either the books were exaggerating or his friend's club is just a weak version. He decides it's the second one. But the next moment, Su attacks him with everything he's got. Yusin just protects himself with his energy. His plan is simple. Just stay on defense and let Su tire himself out. But then he's totally shocked when Su changes the shape of his club, with one part stuck to the wall like a chain and the other in his hand. Yusin asks him what his plan is, and Su gets this victorious look on his face, saying he knows he can't win in a close-up fight, so he's trying something else. He remembers the last goblin club was super powerful, but since he can't summon that one, he's going to use the shape-shifting ability of this weapon. He whips it at his friend, who barely dodges the attack. He even yells that Su is using a cheap trick. Our guy just answers that Yusin is the one who asked for this test to see if he could hold his own against a demon. If his life is on the line, he'll use whatever it takes, even cheap tricks. For a second, Yusin feels like he's cornered because the dude was actually making sense, and that pisses off Yusin, and because our boy was feeling smug, he told him that if Yusin can't handle this much, then this means that he is lacking, and let me tell you, no one wants to get looked down on by a dumbass, so Yusin just flares up and tells him that now he's not going to hold back. Sumu charges at his friend again, who's dodging all his attacks with his speed. But with each attack, Sumu starts to get used to the pattern. Then suddenly, it feels like his attack finally connects. Our guy gets worried and asks if his friend is okay. But the next moment, Yusin is holding the edge of his club perfectly, chanting some kind of mantra at him. Then he shoots an arrow right at him, cutting his club in half. But our boy is quick and gets a grip on his broken club again. On the other hand, Yusin is at a huge disadvantage without his shaman tools. It means he can't use his really powerful spells against his friend. Besides, he can't control his spells right without a tool, so he does what he can. He creates a spirit sword using his shaman energy and dashes forward. The next moment, their weapons clash and Su's weapon is broken, and our boy had not expected that. Yusin is also holding back to avoid hurting his friend, but Su stays persistent, and in the end, he punches his friend hard, knocking him to the ground. Knowing that landing a hit on him wasn't so easy, he asks Yusin why he went easy on him in the end, adding that he could have used the sword since he can regenerate, so it wasn't that big of a deal. His friend answers that he wasn't holding back. He had created the best demon sword he could. It was strong enough to break his goblin club and could easily kill a fiend-class demon. The only reason our boy was still standing was that damn sword, which judged him to be a human and not a monster. The scene changes to Yusin with a bandage on his nose while our boy is being stupid, which annoys his friend. Stu asks about his nose and whether it'll leave a scar. Yusin answers that he's gone through difficult training so it won't leave a scar and will heal in a day. Besides, he knows our boy held back when punching him. If he had punched him with all his might, it would have crushed his nose. Now that he has realized that our boy is strong, he gives him permission to do whatever he wants. Our boy thanks him for understanding. Yusin clarifies that he is not being understanding. He is only allowing him because of the deal they made. Then he extends some gourd baubles to him. Yusin explains that these are a kind of bomb he can use in emergencies. He teaches him how to use it and adds that given his power, just holding them is enough to make them explode. He warns him not to use more than one simultaneously, even if the situation demands it. Seeing them, Sabu hesitates to take the gourds as he can sense an immense amount of energy coming from them, meaning they must be difficult to make. His friend asks whether he's seen something like this before. He answers no, adding that he can feel the same shaman energy he sensed coming from Yusin during their fight. And our boy was right. These gourds were a special tool that was mainly used by Yusin's family. It was extremely hard and time-consuming to make one by storing one's energy after that. These tools are powerful and meant only for emergencies, and anyone possessing them can use shaman spells. One of the main purposes of the gourd was to seal one's energy, so when Sue sensed Yujin's energy, it surprised him that his friend could sense the energy from the gourds even though they're sealed. He then asks Sue to give him his hand. What he's doing is palm reading. Yusin knows he can read one thing from his friend's palm, which is his spiritual energy. He's shocked to read that Sue has a natural talent to become a shaman. Seeing this, his mind starts reeling at the possibilities of making his friend a shaman. He first regrets that if Sue wasn't a demon, he could ask his father to train him. But then a new idea comes to his mind whether he should ask his father to take him as his disciple since Sue is still half human. Then he rejects this idea as well because there are people who won't see this kindly. Even if Sue wasn't his friend, they won't look kindly on a goblin who has the potential to become a shaman. Seeing his confused expression, Yusin tells him that he has a tough life ahead of him, which makes our guy wonder whether Yusin can read it through his palm. Then he changes the topic and asks Sue when he's going to come back to school, and now our boy was facing a new problem as his old clothes won't fit him, as everything is shrunk after he gained muscles instead of fat. Meanwhile, Yusin was looking forward to seeing everyone's reaction, saying that everyone is going to go crazy to see his new look. Our guy doesn't look happy about that despite his friend looking forward to it. Then he checks the time and it's already lunchtime. Sue offers to treat him, but Yusin insists he goes to Sue's place as he made wonderful fried rice last time. Our boy awkwardly tells him that he has a guest at his home. Besides, he needs to go somewhere after lunchtime. Sensing his awkwardness, Yusin assures him that he doesn't need to be so cautious, reassuring him that he's not going to meddle with demon business. So he decides to make plans for lunch some other time and steps ahead. He stops for a moment and tells our guy that he hasn't done anything wrong, so he should walk with his head high and have confidence in himself. After a while, our boy is standing in the old neighborhood, finding a certain location and wondering if he's at the right place or not. Then he reads a Chinese house nameplate. The next moment, a man opens the door and our boy immediately recognizes him as a strong demon. He steps past him and finds a woman standing at the door who welcomes him as the vice head of the Yang Hoi house. He introduces himself and mentions that the old man had sent him there. She asks him to go inside as they already knew that he was coming. When he goes inside, he feels like a dark cloud is looming over the place. When they enter, he's shocked to find Chinese-style houses there. He settles himself down in front of his host and asks about his suspicions, wondering if they're not in Seoul. He can feel that the air is fresh, unlike the air of the city. She confirms it by saying that it's the rising dark moon quarter, which is a separate space from the city, and that's why the air is fresh. She informs him that their main purpose is to serve as a store for the demons living in the human world while helping them adjust there. Sue remembers what Gramps had told him. Then he summons his storage scroll, shows her his money, and asks whether he can buy things with this currency. She answers yes while adding that they also work with exchanges. He shows his confusion about it, and she explains that they can also exchange monster currency for human currency. Recently, one monster coin can be exchanged for 3 million won. When he calculates the amount he'll get for his monster coin, his jaw nearly drops. He suddenly realizes that he is rich, like Richie Rich Rich. Then she shows him a monster pill, which is a kind of medicine made for monsters to acquire their demon energy, something that's quite different from how it's acquired in the natural human environment. He decides to purchase some as he needs demon energy so much. Then he notices that they're available in different colors, so he asks her whether it's because they have different efficiencies. She tells him that's the case. The golden and silver demon energy pills cost the most compared to the black ones due to their effectiveness in consumption. She recommends him to try the black one if he wants recovery now. He decides to take the black one, as she told him that if he takes one right now, he'll recover by tonight. However, in her mind, she thinks that he won't be able to digest even the black one because it totally depends on the absorption rate of the monster core, which expands as the demon gets older and consumes other demons. But in the case of our guy, it's difficult for him to digest it because being a half-demon, it will take him 2 to 3 days to digest half of the black pill, and the remainder will be discharged from his body, unlike any high-class demon. Though in her mind, she tells herself that she isn't lying or anything. If he's able to take part of that black pill, he can recover his insufficient demon energy by tonight. The next moment, he takes the pill, and there's a blazing light in front of his host, who is surprised to see that this is the extent of the monster force he had absorbed. He had digested the pill in just a few seconds while burning with demon energy. It's the first time he feels more than 100% of his demon energy. The scene shifts to what had happened in the rising dark moon quarter, and folks, we've got the leader Dang Wu playing bartender to some demon. But this entitled bastard isn't interested in the drinks, nah. He wants to see Hongrian serving him instead. Four Eyes tells him she'll show up after she's done dealing with some guy the bogeyman sent over. But man, this demon's ego is so fragile he can't handle that someone more important than him is in the building. He's like, who the hell is this guest anyway? Four Eyes told him that it's a half-goblin, as he said that this bastard starts mocking Sue for being a half-goblin who dares to join the festival. In his mind, Gramps should have just let this dying bloodline fade away instead of dragging Sue into the party. Then this asshole notices Four Eyes stop pouring his drinks. He starts taunting the poor guy, basically calling him out for being half-blood too. It gets even worse. He says this whole quarter is packed with half-monsters who can't call themselves human, but demons won't acknowledge them either. He's all, "At least you losers can prove you're useful to us real demons," saying, "You half-demons will never be actual demons." Man, this dude is practically begging for a beating, and Four Eyes wants to punch his stupid face, but he keeps it cool and tells the guy he can't see the future and offers more booze to him. He asked about his setup for going into the human world. The leader explains how he's prepared everything so this guy can roam around without bumping into too many humans. He mentions Yuzium's doing all this to save the human world. But nope, this entitled brat shoots that down real quick. He's like, "We're not saving anything. This human world belongs to us, so no outsider's going to steal our humans." Meanwhile, he's thinking this whole mission is just his way to get Daddy's approval and show that he is just as competent as his siblings. Four Eyes asks him if he should go and check on Hongrian and tries to bounce, but he stops him. Now he wants the vice head to be his personal servant while he's in the human world. The leader's like, "We don't do that here." But this guy's too stupid to care. He says that Four Eyes is just a merchant and should obey the wish of his customer. Just then, the massive demon energy flared from somewhere else. Everyone turned towards the direction, thinking, what the heck was that? And now it's time for some quick demon info drop. People, energy lies in every creature like water in our bodies. Humans, demons, whatever, everyone uses what they can store, and it's up to the individual how they use that water, and it's different for everyone, whether it's a human or the monster. And one more thing, even if you increase the size of your bowl, you can't hold more water than that bowl. Cut back to Sue asking if his host is okay and apologizing for the mess he caused. He's feeling incredible after popping that pill while casually breaking the rule we have just talked about. Just then, that bastard comes calling Sue so uneducated that he's letting his energy scatter everywhere in a place like this. Hungan jumps in, saying it's her fault, not Sue's. But this jerk shuts her down with, "I didn't give you permission to speak." He keeps mocking how Sue can't control his demon energy. She apologizes again, but man, Sue is getting pissed. And here's the thing, the more demon energy he has, the less gentle human Sue we get, and the more demon Sue shows up to the party. Our boy looks at this rude-ass demon and calls him exactly what he is, and boy, did it hurt this bastard's feelings as he said, "What did you just say?" Sue doubles down and calls him rude again, but with more attitude this time. And folks, that's when shit hits the fan. This spoiled brat attacks Sue, sending him flying. He's all about how he didn't make the difference in them clear earlier, so he'll be teaching Sue some basic manners as to how he should treat him. With that, he once again activated his unique ability. Hungan tries to calm them, saying violence isn't allowed here because if the big bosses find out, they're all screwed. But this guy doesn't give a damn and looks at her, hitting her with the same ability, saying she too had stepped out of line while throwing the half-blood insult at her too. He turns back to Sue, demanding he kneel so he can teach him some respect. But our boy steps forward and basically says, "If you think I'm being rude, let's settle this like men." Takes a fighting stance, ready to beat the crap out of him, and the idiot does exactly what he shouldn't and attacks Sue, but Sue this time counters it easily and then goes, "You threw a water droplet at me at full speed, didn't you?" He figures out this guy's collecting water from grass and surroundings to shoot at him. In the first attack, he had used the water from the tea that was spilled earlier, and Sue picked up on that. Sue remembers his fight from last night as he says, "I had a similar experience today, and compared to that, you seem like a child." And with that burn still hanging in the air, Sue rushes at this bastard while apologizing in advance for the beating that was about to come. With that said, he rushed to him at full speed. The bastard he is studying Sue, seeing how he had this massive energy gathered around his right hand, is thinking to himself how Sue is so simple-minded. While throwing some insults at him in his mind, he is thinking that he can easily predict what Sue is going to do, but as Sue gets close to him, he ducks and sucker punches him so hard that the guy plops down on the ground, and the lady just can't believe it as she stands there with her mouth wide open while our boy is now looking down on him. Meanwhile, Hongri Yun's watching this whole beatdown go down, and she's absolutely stunned. She's seeing Sue's fighting style and thinking to herself, this kid's got power, and he's a tactical genius. Our boy actually predicted that this arrogant bastard would try to read his movements, so he switched things up mid-fight. She's scratching her head, going, how the hell is a 3-day-old demon this ridiculously powerful? Sue asked the bastard if the beating was enough or if he wants more. If not, then he should get on his knees and apologize to Hongryun. He didn't mind that bastard attacking him, but attacking someone who actually tried to stop the fight that was just plain awful, and he has to beg for forgiveness for that. Our boy was clear about that, but this idiot is not having it. Instead, this bastard pierces Sue's arm with some fancy spell and launches another attack. But Sue dodges like he's Neo in the Matrix, sending him flying with a kick. This bastard activates his special power. Apparently his clan can gather water from anywhere and shape it into metal. This water works like poison once it gets in your bloodstream, and he was counting on that fact, explaining how demons can regrow limbs, but poison, that takes forever to heal from. Sue hits the floor as the poison kicks in, while this idiot just goes, "You're pretty good for a half-demon, but you've never dealt with poison before, have you?" Then he readies his water weapon for the killing blow, throwing in one more insult about how Sue will never be a full demon. But our boy straight up tells him that it doesn't matter if he's ever called a demon or not, and the dude almost loses his mind as he realizes that Suu's already healed and he's sporting a brand new demon club. He can't believe his eyes, but he recovers quickly and charges up his ultimate attack. We're talking crystal water from underground here, people. This stuff is 100 times heavier than regular water, hitting with the velocity of a jumbo truck at full speed. Meanwhile, our boy's having his own little strategy session. He remembers from his last fight that the shape of his weapon matters for maximum damage, so he decides to change his club into a sword. Now he's no sword master like his friend, but hey, sometimes you have to improvise. He just needs to sharpen that blade and charge it up with demon energy, and with his core that was filled more than his capacity, you can do some serious damage. He cuts that water attack clean in half. Young Master's jaw hits the floor, watching his ultimate technique just disappear as the water splashes uselessly on the ground. The next second, Suu's behind him going, remember when you said demons can regrow limbs with enough demon energy? And still ice. Both of the young master's arms are gone because our boy's done playing nice. Standing over this whimpering mess, Sue asks real casual like, does it hurt? You should be used to pain, being a true demon and all. Then he kicks him away. Now this young master is absolutely terrified, thinking about how his clan rules over tons of demons and how he's the youngest, most obnoxious member who never apologizes to anyone or faces real consequences. He was about to face it now. Sue was standing in front of him with his aura flaring, asking him if he is ready to apologize or if he needs more beating. This bastard immediately begs for forgiveness, but our boy's like, not to me, genius to her, pointing at Hungan. His prideful idiot hesitates because he still thinks she's beneath him. So reminds him, real friendly like, that they can always go another round if he hasn't learned his lesson yet. This brat drops to his knees before Hungan, begging for forgiveness. Cut to our boy's apartment, Solo wakes up asking for water. The scene shifts over to Morang, the big boss headmaster of Yang Hoi, and man is this guy pissed. He's expressing some serious regret and anger about all the chaos that went down while he was away, and the Four Eyes is apologizing, admitting he totally underestimated how much of a handful this situation would be. But Morang's like, nah dude, this isn't on you or Hongra. Nobody expected you guys to babysit the youngest brat from the Haiti clan. Then he asks about Hungry Yun's condition. Good news, her injuries aren't too bad. Bad news, the girl's emotionally wrecked. She's blaming herself for this whole mess because she gave Suwu that black pill without really understanding what the hell she was doing. Morang acknowledges she screwed up but gives herself credit. It was our boy's ridiculous ability to absorb that pill that made her realize her mistakes. Meanwhile, our guy's having his own personal crisis. Unlike 4 days ago when he lost control because of demon energy overload, this time he actually managed to stabilize his energy crystal and calm down. He's reflecting on the fight and trying to justify what he did. He knows cutting off the young master's arms was necessary to stop that idiot before someone else got hurt. Totally reasonable move, but the problem? He actually enjoyed the violence, and now that realization is messing with his head big time, so now that our boy's lost in his thoughts, Hongyun comes over, worried about her injuries. He asked how she was doing. She told him that she was okay. Doom reminds her that coughing up blood isn't exactly okay and it should be taken seriously. Then she drops to her knees apologizing, admitting she wasn't thinking straight and made terrible decisions. She's taking full responsibility for the chaos, especially giving him that black pill. Our guy tries to reassure her that the blame's on the people who actually fought, not her, but unable to bear the guilt. She told him that she had given him the black, knowing that it wasn't what he needed. She told him everything how the silver or the gold pill would have been more than enough to give him the effect he wanted. Sue is confused and asks if she was trying to rip him off. But now she had done it out of jealousy. She told him that she was envious because they're both half-demons, but she's got none of his abilities. Half-demons usually can't store demon energy in their cores, making their existence painful and incomplete. They can sense the energy but can't absorb it, like being perpetually thirsty, but never being able to drink. She admits she was jealous of his exceptional talent. Not only can he absorb energy, but he does it at an insane rate. So her jealousy made her deceive him with that black pill recommendation. She apologizes deeply and says she'll accept whatever punishment he thinks is fair. Right in the middle of this emotional moment, the headmaster shows up and interrupts. He introduces himself to Sue and basically tells her, I got this, before dismissing her. Our guy informs the headmaster he's already forgiven Hungry Yun and wants a refund on that black pill. The headmaster agrees while Hungry Yun is grateful for his generosity even though she feels her apology wasn't enough. Then the headmaster told Sue that Yusim, that bastard from earlier, is the youngest son of the prestigious Haiti clan. Our boy's surprised because Yusim's behavior was nothing like the grace and dignity that clan's known for. The headmaster warns that misunderstandings are coming because Yusim definitely won't tell his family the truth about what happened. To prevent things from escalating, he suggests arranging a meeting between both sides to explain their circumstances. But our dude refuses. He's like, if I need to confront the clan directly, so be it. I'll explain the truth that Yusim got violent over a simple apology and I had to defend myself. The headmaster acknowledges his reasoning but warns him not to underestimate the Haiti clan. Yusim's siblings are way more powerful than that bastard. Our guy admits he expects nothing less and says he's prepared for future battles. Then he drops his ultimate goal, becoming the Demon King. The headmaster's thinking this kid's pretty bold with that statement, especially since most demons won't take that lightly. He's trying to figure out why Sue wants this power. Sue told him that he just can't let a bastard like Yusium see him roam around the world. The headmaster thinks about how our boy is bold to say stuff like that. His stupidity is making him even more interesting. He hasn't met a character like our boy since the end of the last festival. He then slips his hands in his pocket and slams something on the table, saying that it is a gift and a token of apology from Yang Hoi House. But knowing that Sue won't accept it, he frames it as an investment in Sue's future rather than just a gift. Later, when Seo gets back to his apartment, Seo was there, ready to give him a beating for taking so long. She walks over to him and a bird is sitting on her hand. Sue thinks that it was Somi and bends to say hi to it, but it straight up attacks him. Seo asks him if he really was that big of an idiot, asking him how the heck he thinks that it looks like Somi. After he was done getting violated by the bird, Seo told him to not be this stupid in front of Somi, as she doesn't have a single white feather despite being a magpie, and she was always kind of bummed about it. Then, turning serious, she told him that Somi had just sent intel about missing people, and based on her findings, she's identified areas that are likely hunting grounds for foreign demons. She told him that they're investigating one of those locations tonight to hunt down the demons. But first, proper preparation is needed, and our boy is all pumped, saying he'll do anything when he gets a punch to the face for being a terrible host and making her wear his gym clothes that smell like his sweat. So the first thing they had to do is to buy her some new clothes. Our guy in Seolwo went to the department store, and the dude's jaw just dropped at the size. She asked him if it was the best store in the country, to which he told her that she could find bigger ones in the countryside, but Seolwo was already impressed, thinking to herself how it was already a feat building something like this without demon magic. Now here's the thing about our boy, this is his first ever department store visit and his first real shopping experience as a teenager. He's always been into fashion and had been saving up his allowance for exactly this moment. But back when he was overweight, his friends kept encouraging him to go shopping, but he always made excuses, thinking to himself that he'll shop when he loses weight. So now standing in this fancy store now, he feels like a long-awaited dream is finally coming true. He tells Seolwa she can try on whatever she wants and he'll pay for it, but man, when he starts checking those price tags, reality hits him. Turns out he has no clue what upscale shopping actually costs, while the sales role was all about how his girlfriend must be thrilled to have such a generous guy. Meanwhile, Seolwa tries on this stunning dress and asks how she looks. Despite being internally terrified about the cost, he tells her she looks amazing, while thinking to himself how it was a good thing he exchanged some demon coins earlier, or the shopping spree would have been a financial disaster. After checking out the first outfit's price, he's pretty depressed but brushes it off, thinking it's thanks to her help that he even has demon coins in the first place. But Seal was not done. She insists she needs more than one outfit. Our boy's slightly panicking about the cost but keeps his cool. Then she hands him 10 demon coins and tells him to use them if he runs out of money for her purchases. He's overwhelmed by the gesture but accepts them. She confidently moves from dress to dress, showing them off and asking his opinion, totally enjoying this whole shopping experience. Despite this being her first time in the human world, Seolwa knows exactly what she wants. Turns out Somi made her read fashion magazines and practice shopping strategies. This girl came ready to conquer the mall while our boy's just winning it. Then some rude asshole bumps into our guy without apologizing. Seolwa notices and calls out the man for being a jerk, adding that humans are too soft when dealing with this kind of behavior. She tells our guy you should handle that because letting people walk all over you makes you look weak. She points out that this behavior could make him an easy target, especially in the demon world, where strength is everything. Then she starts lecturing him about the importance of completely overpowering opponents to prevent future challenges. So she brings up that whole mess with the Haiti clan member, she can literally smell their presence on our guy. She's telling him that the youngest member is probably still thinking about his attitude and that mocking face he made. Our guy's like, yeah, you got that right, because honestly, what else is he going to say? But then Seolwa drops some backstory. Turns out she's dealt with these Haiti clan jerks before. The middle child, who's apparently 100 years older than her, challenged her out of pure rivalry. And Seolwa, she absolutely demolished this demon and told her to stay the hell out of her sight. She's using the story to make a point, man, our guy needs to stop being such a doormat. She knows it's tough to switch from a regular human mindset to a demon overnight, but when you choose to fight, you better do it right. And here's the smart part, she says showing strength up front actually prevents more violence later. The scene shifts to this young couple rushing through the store. The girl's all excited, telling her boyfriend to hurry up, but when she turns around, he's completely vanished. She thinks he's playing some kind of prank, not realizing he just became demon food. The demon is sitting there thinking to herself how she should have gone for the girl, as the guy is terrible, when someone approaches her from behind. The girl was in the mood for being mischievous, but the guy hit her with the bad news that Korean demons might be onto them. The girl smiles psychotically and says that they had always known that it would happen. The guy reminds her that they were supposed to be discreet and not draw attention, but the girl just laughs it off, saying they have been active for months and how those weaklings just found out, and now the boy gets all psychotic and asks her if they are breaking the law, so they might as well eat the demons too, and asks her if she's in. The scene shifts back to our boy, and it seems Seolwa had filled him in with what was going on there. Her visit here wasn't just for the shopping. In her report, Somi had told her that this area was the place where most humans had disappeared from, so while they were shopping, she had scattered her energy to find the demons and those bastards. Instead of running away, they were ready for a fight, so it was time for our duo to knock some sense into them. Stilwa starts breaking down the whole situation for our boy. She's explaining that this isn't just some random department store, nah man, this place is the ultimate hotspot. You got 3 subway lines crossing right here, plus a bus terminal connecting Seoul to the countryside. Basically the beating heart of the city with thousands of people flowing through daily. She tells him that with all these crowds, people can just disappear and nobody would notice. Like seriously, if someone vanishes here, everyone assumes they wandered off to grab coffee. Nobody's thinking, oh no, demons are eating people. Our fox girl does her energy sensing thing and boom, 4 demons lurking around. She figures they've divided the territory. 2 at the department store, 1 at the bus terminal, and 1 at the subway lines. The problem is, she has no clue what species these demons are, and that's always bad news. Our guy suggests calling Gramps since they're outnumbered and going in blind. But Seolwa shoots that down real quick. Look, dude, these demons are literally provoking us. If we start making phone calls, we're giving them time to bounce. The demons know they're being hunted but aren't running, meaning they got a plan ready. Seolwa explains that unlike demons who can go wild eating people, they got rules. Can't accidentally hurt innocent humans. She predicts the showdowns happening inside the department store after closing. Soon the night falls and we cut to the rooftop where demon siblings are having their family meeting. Rand notices Chain isn't around and he tells her that she bailed on the mission. When Ray tried talking to her, Chain was basically like, "This sounds interesting, but I like my setup and won't risk my neck for you guys." Chain tells them they're not reliable enough and says she's finding a new hunting ground. Wishes them luck but makes it clear she's out. The remaining 3 are like, whatever. Chain was never really part of the team anyway. Then Vigga gets all ambitious about their master plan. Eat as many humans as possible, get super powered up, and go back to their homeland as total badasses. They're dreaming of becoming demon kings and ruling Zhongyuan, wanting to erase their family's humiliation at that moment. Stelwa's energy explodes across the building and using her inherent ability, Violent Whisper, she orders all the humans to leave the mall, so now the demon siblings are standing there thinking we might have made a mistake. Bran recognizes this isn't some amateur. He calls her a genius among fox demons, genuinely worried about her control level. In the blink of an eye, Seolwa shows up in front of them, saying how they stink and asking if they are planning to kill her with disappointment. Ray orders Wylan to head downstairs and handle the other demon while he and Viran would take Seolwa. But Seolwa laughs at their stupidity and says if you wanted to save your sister, you should have told her to run as far as possible. These idiots at least realize how screwed they were. One of them even saying that if they were to meet her when they had first arrived in Korea, they wouldn't have lasted a second, but now that they have eaten more than 1,000 humans, they are feeling cocky. Meanwhile, our boy is doing the hero thing, evacuating remaining shoppers, and what do you know? Perot used his brain for once, using a fake emergency broadcast about a gas leak so as not to sound suspicious. You see him helping everyone from regular shoppers to elderly women with grandsons, making sure ordinary people reach safety. Seolwa had already told him to handle anyone resistant to her hypnotic influence. As our boy was about to head inside to help other people, YM showed up and Sue was ready to throw hands when he sensed her presence, but she told him to calm down as she didn't want to eat him. She was planning to, but our boy doesn't look that nutritious anymore, so she told him let's pretend we never met and skip the fighting. She adds that she is not planning to become the demon king, so she doesn't have to eat demons, and in 6 months, this world will belong to the demon anyways. Let's get along, nobody notices a few humans go missing. Sue is getting angry but staying composed. Then he noticed that Wyan had come from the direction he had sent the old lady and her grandchild in. He asked her if she saw them and she smiled and said that she already ate them. The casual way she mentions it really gets to him. Dude just risked his neck saving those people and she's talking about eating them like it's no big deal. Sue was no longer holding anything back as, without wasting a second, he punched her stupid face. So there she goes, folks flying down the stairs after murdering who knows how many humans, and damn, this whole thing really messes with our boy's head big time. Look, up until now he's been living his demon life, thinking the only threat was other demons coming for him, but man, he never really thought about what demons do to humans. You know what I mean? Like he's been so focused on demon versus demon drama that he forgot humans are basically walking snacks to these creatures. Wayne's just standing there licking her lips, saying he looks absolutely delicious, and the moment she senses his power, no chit-chat time, our protagonist rushes straight at her. She's watching his moves real carefully. He goes left, she's tracking it, he attacks, and she blocks. He flips her to the ground with all of his strength. She's all crumpled up but still has that creepy serial killer smile going on. But wait, her expression goes full surprise Pikachu face when she sees his goblin club and she's like, What the hell is that thing? Is that inheritance magic? He confirms it and swings at her, but this girl blocks it like it's nothing. Her arms are going full demon mode now, and not only that, but she yanks his goblin club right out of his hands while healing up like she's got some cheat code activated. Our boy's just standing there, jaw dropped at her true demon form. Then she attacks with those nasty demon arms, but surprise, surprise, he blocks it mid-air. Then she backs off real quick. She's all embarrassed, saying she doesn't want him looking at her like this because this is her inherent magic. Her arms and feet turn into demons, and apparently they smell like a rotten corpse. Our boy's like, nah, it's not about how you look, trying to be all supportive and stuff. Then she drops the lore bomb. She introduces her demon kind as the brain eaters who literally need to munch on human flesh to survive. That's their whole energy source. It's like humans drinking water, except way more horrifying. And get this, they're born from eating the carcasses of dead humans from wars, but after the law got passed, their survival became basically impossible because eating humans is as necessary to them as breathing, but now most of their kind are dead from starving, while some sneak into the human world to eat in silence. The sad backstory continues, folks. These demons get hunted by other demons, including her own parents. Then they're left alone without parents, living in a sewer without even a proper human form. But hey, look at her now. She's adopted that cute body by eating humans. And she's all casual about it, saying humans have been getting eaten for thousands of years anyway, and they'll be eaten in 6 months too. So what's the big deal? She asks him to pretend it never happened because she really likes him. But our boy hits her with the "I'm not a demon, and I want this law to stay forever." Then he challenges her to come at him because he feels zero sympathy for her. She rushes at him, and he realizes this girl has serious speed and power. Up until now, our protagonist has been progressing like crazy as a demon because of his bloodline and legacy, but this is the first time he's facing such a powerful opponent. But the girl loses control and attacks the wrong way because she's not used to all this power. The power gap between them exists because Wei-Yen has been eating human flesh for months, which gave her massive nutrients and demon energy. He opens his scroll and puts on his band. She suggests he use his goblin club again, but he's ready to fight without it, which makes her realize it's not easy for him to maintain that magic. After multiple attacks, she's getting the upper hand, and our boy's looking pretty weak, but she's shocked because she can tell he's got something up his sleeve. He's gambling everything on his goblin wrestling, literally staking his life on it. The scene shifts to his conversation with Seolwa, who wanted to know about his fight with the black tortoise. He nervously says it wasn't really a fight. She agrees, saying he's one of the strongest because of his bloodline talent and years of training to master both techniques. She adds that only a few demons over 500 years old in Korea are stronger than him. He's curious if she could beat him and asks, which makes her mad. She arrogantly says regardless of age, she's the strongest. Yo lady having white hair doesn't make you Gojo. Then she asks about his attack pattern against Goyo. He says he used the item Somi had given him and used the goblin wrestling, and then, getting all disappointed, he told her that he has realized that there is a limit to what he can do. She asks if he stayed still after that, and when he confirms it, she's surprised. She explains that regardless of demon magic, he can use power differently depending on his opponent's strength, because his real power is in wrestling. Back in the present, Sel was standing in the department store with a smug expression, worried about leaving our boy on his own, but it looks like he's winning. She turns to her opponent, who's pretty beaten up, and she's disappointed because he only pushed her to use 3 tails when she expected to use 4. She expresses worry that she initially thought they were the strongest, but they seem to be dying, which is why they came to Korea to feed. Then she asks about their boss and who's been hiding them and how many of these bastards came to Korea. So for the past month, this dude's been declining to expose whoever this mystery person is, but she threatens him, saying he's going to spill, or they aren't going to be living anymore. Her little threat absolutely infuriates him, and he goes into full demon mode transformation. He refuses again while rushing straight at her. Meanwhile, she's checking out his demon energy, and she's like, oh, upper mystic level, nice, and immediately summons the Great Emperor. She crushes him into the wall with that smug expression, saying no matter what, he's not going to win against her because power isn't the only thing that matters. It's how you use it. So there's this bird chilling on her shoulder who's like, I like your outfit, which is such a random comment in the middle of the fight. Then she turns to Somi, who's complaining that she's not fun. She replies to her friend that she can't fall for the same tricks after a whole century. She notices Somi's condition and damn, this girl looks like a complete mess. She tells her she's got tons of work to do, including taking care of some guests, and begs her to help. Silwa agrees to help since she'll charm some humans for this, but she's curious about what business involves attending to guests. Then the floor starts shaking and she asks if there are any demons left. She says it's just Suwu. Song protests, saying she already warned her not to take him because he's not ready, but she brushes off this concern, saying it's his chance to get stronger. He can't level up fighting weaker demons, right? Selwa adds that Somi doesn't need to worry about our boy because he's a goblin, not just some ordinary demon. He's got a purpose to become a demon king, so he needs constant battles to get stronger for the next 6 months. Meanwhile, our boy is fighting with a psychotic girl who's confused why our boy is still standing while she's hitting him constantly. He's thinking about goblin wrestling, which is a combat trait gifted to every goblin. It's this power and ability that doesn't rely on magic, which is why they're not just good at wrestling, they literally can't lose when it comes to wrestling. He comes toward her while apologizing as he carries on after realizing something. She's watching his moves until he tries to kill her. She rushes at him, trying to block his movement while striking, but she's shocked to be stopped by him. Here's the thing, folks. The foundation of every martial art and defensive technique is to redirect enemy power and minimize damage. But instead of doing this, our boy takes the damage to his core. Like the goblin language says, like a tree deeply rooted in the ground standing on 2 feet. She depends on goblin power, and Sue has realized this. Then he attacks with everything he's got, knocking her to the ground. She asks him to kill her now because she wants to die looking pretty. He says he can't do it because she's needed for the investigation about whoever let them into the country. She chuckles, saying she wishes he kept her alive for another reason. The next moment, our boy senses someone behind him. He turns and gets attacked by that person. Meanwhile, Sil was asking about these guests Som is going to attend. She answers that China sent some demon to take responsibility for the incident that happened there. But the problem is they sent someone quite famous who's stubborn, making it hard to deal with. Seolwa asks